We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. I just got off work. It is 8:30 a.m., September 4th, Saturday, I believe. Just been working 6 days a week and been getting overtime. And the day before yesterday, I went to go fill up my white rabbit, my white car, and it wouldn't start. And then yesterday it starts up. So I just went ahead and took it to the shop. And I mean, this car, it's an older car. It's a 97. I've done put a fuel pump in it. I've done had a tune-up in it. So tune-up, fuel pump, a new starter, and a new battery. So I mean, it's got to be like something like an alternator or something. It's kind of discouraging though, because it was like I've been working overtime. This is like week 5 of overtime, just trying to get ahead, and it's like it just feels like it's impossible, you know. But as far as updates, that's about it. Just life's been going on as usual. Today we're going to be covering Australia. Why are we covering Australia, Abe? You live in America. Because what's going on in the world in other countries will soon be over here. And I found through another YouTuber, his name's High Impact Flicks, so shout out to him. He brought something to my attention, so I found the article that he was talking about. And it's actually from, surprisingly, a liberal source, The Atlantic. But even they, in this article, are like, dude, what's going on in Australia is knuckin' futs. Which is surprising. But I mean, that's how bad it's getting, to the point where a liberal news source is literally like, what the fuck? And there's something in this article, we'll get to it, I'm going to read it, that it's fucking Orwellian. It is not good. It is not cool. And yeah, we're just going to kind of go through the article, and I'll comment on it and talk about it. And yeah, it's getting weird out there, y'all. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, and I just pulled up my YouTube, because I haven't been using YouTube for like ever. The only time I've been using YouTube is just to put new episodes out. I did get 2 new subscribers on YouTube, so I thank you guys very much. If you're a YouTube listener and you want to listen to audio only because it saves battery on your phone, say you're listening to us at work and stuff, you can find us on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Spotify, Anchor, and we're not censored on BitChute, so you can find stuff on BitChute that you won't find on YouTube. But I appreciate it. Thanks to the 2 new subscribers. I hope you guys enjoy, and make sure to share with people who would think would enjoy the podcast, or just people you think that perhaps they're halfway awake and they just kind of need that little nudge they need that little red pill. So share as much as you want, it helps, man, and it kind of boosts up my self-esteem. And when it's like, because this is my new channel on YouTube. I had 200 subs on my old channel, which I can't. I mean, they've cleared the strikes and stuff, but I'm not going to go back to it. I've already invested in this one. They'll just strike it down again. So it does definitely kind of boost up my self-esteem and gives me more drive to put out more episodes. So I appreciate it, guys. All right, and like I said, this is from The Atlantic, which is actually surprisingly a liberal source by Connor Friedersdorf. It's basically Australia traded away too much liberty. In a bid to keep the coronavirus out of the country, Australia's federal and state governments imposed draconian restrictions on its citizens. Prime Minister Scott Morrison knows that the burden is too heavy. Quote, "This is not a sustainable way to live in this country," he recently declared. One prominent civil libertarian summed up the rules by lamenting, quote, "We've never seen anything like this in our lifetimes. So, I don't know, maybe stop doing it." Oh, wait, no, that goes against Agenda 21. Sorry. Yeah. Up to now, one of Earth's freest societies, Australia, has become a hermit continent. How long can a country maintain emergency restrictions on its citizens' lives while calling itself a liberal democracy? Well, first of all, right there, a liberal democracy. That's where you fucked up. You see, they keep trying to, because if you say things long enough and often enough, I believe is what George Bush Jr. said, people start to believe it. They keep calling America a democracy, and we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. So right there, that's your first mistake, is liberal democracy. Especially that word liberal. Like, old school liberal was cool. I consider myself an old school liberal. This new social justice shit that's going on now, it ain't liberal, dude. It's just batshit. That's what it is. Before 2020, the idea of Australia all but forbidding its citizens from leaving the country, a restriction associated with communist regimes, was unthinkable. Today it is widely accepted policy. Australia's borders are currently closed, and international travel from Australia remains strictly controlled to help prevent the spread of the beer bug. A government website declares, "International travel from Australia is only available if you are exempt or have been granted an individual exemption. The rule is enforced despite assurances on another government website dedicated to setting forth Australia's human rights treaties obligations, that the freedom to leave a country, quote, cannot be made dependent on establishing a purpose or reason of leaving." So the nation's high court struck down a challenge to the country's beer bug restrictions. It may be accepted, quote, that the travel restrictions are harsh. It may also be accepted that to intrude upon individual rights, it ruled, quote, but Parliament was aware of that, unquote. Until last month, Australians who are residents of foreign countries were exempt from the rule so they could return to their residence. The government tightened the restrictions further, trapping many of them in the country too. Well, yeah, I mean, basically it's house arrest. I mean, let's stop calling it quarantine and all this other shit. Let's just call it what it actually is, house arrest. And you committed no crime. The only crime you committed was existing and breathing and shitting and farting and sneezing, being, I don't know, a normal human being. Interstate travel within Australia is also severely restricted, and the government of South Australia, one of the country's 6 states, developed and is now testing an app. This is the part that I wanted to share with you guys. Pay very close attention, because like I said, if it's happening there, it's going to happen here in the U.S. And I do actually have listeners in Australia, So I feel for you guys over there, man. And I am so, as an American, I am so disappointed. Like, the whole world has been watching us. And I'm not even saying that as an American, I'm saying it as someone who watches like people like Autodidactics channel or Flat Earth British. There's a lot of like Australians and English people who are watching America like, I thought you guys were like cowboys, man. And you guys, I have to say, as an American, man, I am so ashamed of my people and how they have just literally just bent over and been like, yeah, sure, just, you know, burn the Constitution. It's looking grim, dude. But pay very close attention to this. Interstate travel within Australia is also severely restricted. And the government of South Australia, one of the country's 6 states, developed and is now testing an app as Orwellian as any in the free world to enforce its quarantine rules. Returning travelers quarantining at home will be forced to download an app that combines facial recognition and geolocation. The state will text them at random times, and thereafter they will have 15 minutes to take a picture of their face in the location where they are supposed to be. Should they fail, the local police department will be sent to follow up in person. Quote, we don't tell them how often or when, on a random basis, they have to reply within 15 minutes. Premier Stephen Marshall explained, I think every South Australian should feel pretty proud. What? They should feel proud that we are the national pilot for the home-based quarantine app. No. Okay, so they'll send you a text randomly. Now, I work third shift, so I'm trying to imagine how this would work for me, because obviously most people are normal early birds. You know, they work the normal 9 to 5. Like me working third shift, I am the minority. So, if these motherfuckers texted me at noon or 2 in the afternoon, my ass is going to be sleeping through that. So you're telling me they're going to just bang on my door and be like, where are you at? Why didn't you respond? I work third, and where most of the world is working first shift, of course you would text me while it's daytime, you know. What if you're taking a shower? I take a bath, like I like baths. 15 minutes. Normally I'll have my phone next to me playing a podcast, but what if I'm taking a shower with the missus, man? We ain't taking no 15-minute shower. It might be 20 minutes, you know? I'm pretty quick, but she's a female. Not trying to be sexist, but she takes a little longer. What if you're fucking, dude? I mean, I know it's like a stereotype. I know that most guys don't last very long, but there's times, you know, that 30, 35 minutes, yeah? You think I'm going to pick up my phone while I'm in the middle of getting freaky? 15 minutes. Huh. Yeah. That's just insane. And like I said, you know, if you're an American listener, you guys need to be paying attention to what's going on around the world, because if it's happening there, I know. All the Americans around here, I live in Kentucky, so I hear it all the time. Well, shit, man, I got my guns. They ain't gonna do nothing. It ain't gonna happen here. It ain't gonna happen here. They literally put us all on house arrest. They destroyed all the small businesses. Everyone's walking around with dog muzzles on their faces, getting injected, you know, with gene therapy. You don't think it's gonna happen here, bro? Yeah. And oh my god, the whole fucking like redneck shit of I got my guns. It don't matter. They'll just drone you. You know? Oh, you got Grandpappy's shotgun hanging on the wall. Okay, what are you gonna do against the tank, bro? Have you not heard about Waco? Hello? Unless you got an army behind you, you ain't gonna do shit, man. Now, I have a solution to a lot of these things. I just can't say it on here. I just can't say it on here. If I was talking to you face to face, I could tell you exactly what needs to be done, but I can't say it on here. Other states also curtailed their citizens. Liberty in the name of safety. The state of Victoria, by the way, Victoria, I hear it's like a shit show in Victoria. It's like the worst over there, dude. As far as they're not doing FEMA camps, but they're like locking people in hotel rooms and shit. It's fucking absurd. Announced a curfew and suspended its parliament for key parts of the pandemic. To put this in context, quote, federal and state parliaments sat during both world wars and Spanish flu, and curfews have never been imposed. Well, yeah, that's because Agenda 21's going on now. Spanish flu, I've already said this on this channel, man. Spanish flu, everyone says, this what's going on now is just a trial run. No, they already did their trial run with Spanish flu. This is not a trial run. This is it. Everyone, for some reason, I hear all these truth channels going, oh, they're testing us. They're just seeing if they can get away with it. This is not a trial run. This is it. This is the final card. Spanish flu was the trial run. And I keep telling people, you guys seriously need to start looking into Spanish flu and what happened then and what's happening now. Spanish flu was the trial run. This is not a trial run. This is the final round, y'all. I digress. And curfews have never been imposed. The scholar John Lee observed in an article for the Brookings Institution. I don't know what that is, so y'all would have to tell me. In responding to a question about whether he had gone too far with respect to imposing a curfew, avoiding the question of why a curfew was needed when no other state had one, Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews replied, "It is not about human rights, it's about human life." Okay, so imposing a curfew. So I'm just curious, you know. So the beer bug, it knows what time it is? I'm a little confused. So like the beer bug knows when it's nighttime and when it's daytime and are you kidding me? Obviously I'm being a smartass because that's how ridiculous curfews are. In New South Wales, Police Minister David Elliott defended the deployment of the Australian military to enforce lockdowns, telling the BBC that some residents of the state thought, quote, the rules don't apply to them, unquote. In Sydney, where more than 5 million people have been in lockdown for more than 2 months, and Melbourne, the country's second biggest city, anti-lockdown protests were banned, and when dissenters gathered anyways, hundreds were arrested and fined. Yeah, I just probably wouldn't pay that fucking fine. They could just keep arresting me. I don't really give a fuck. Hey, that saves me money on rent. Yeah, so basically sending in the military, which this is old news. That actually happened, I think, like last month or something, that they started sending in the military. So once again, if it's happening there, it'll happen here. And I keep hearing this argument of, the U.S. military wouldn't do that to its own people. Yeah, I can sit here and argue with you on that one. I can argue all day with you on that one. But Australia is undoubtedly a democracy. Well, once again, you should have been a constitutional republic with multiple political parties. First of all, I do have to say this. Y'all should have never turned over your fucking guns, man. And I'm not bashing on Australians. I'm not trying to be racist or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But y'all should have never turned over your fucking guns, man. regular elections, and peaceful transfer of power. But if a country indefinitely forbids its own citizens from leaving its borders, strands tens of thousands of its citizens abroad, puts strict rules on interstate travel. Oh, by the way, I have noticed that it's either, I think it's Australia and England. I think actually, no, it is Australia. The truckers are going on strike and like literally just parking their vehicles to block traffic and shit. Attaboy, thumbs up. I like that. That's what I like to see. Over the old jibber jabbers, Prohibits citizens from leaving home without an excuse. Oh, kind of like a hall pass. You have to have a hall pass now. From an official government list. Mandates mask even when people are outdoors and socially distanced. Deploys the military to enforce those rules. Bans protest. That's kind of fucked up. And arrest and fines dissenters. Is that country still a liberal democracy? No, I think not. Enduring rules of that sort would certainly render a country a police state. In year 2 of the P word, with the beer bug, now thought to be endemic rather than a temporary emergency, the nation could avoid how much time would pass before we must regard Australia as illiberal and unfree. To give Australia's approach its due, temporary restrictions on liberty were far more defensible early in the pandemic, when countries locked down and scientists understood little about the beer bug, attributes, or trajectory. Australian leaders hoped to blank, quote unquote, flatten the curve. Yeah, that was supposed to be 2 weeks. This is the longest 2 weeks ever. I feel like I'm in hell or something, or limbo. Of infection in an effort to prevent overcrowded hospitals and degraded care, and the higher death rates that would follow. See, I wonder if those overcrowded hospitals are because they shut down hospitals and sent everyone to certain hospitals like they did here in the US, but just saying, look it up. The country was also betting that within a time period short enough that restrictions could be sustained, scientists would develop a V word that protected against morbidity and mortality. As it turned out, the bet paid off. Had it behaved rationally and adequately valued liberty, a rich nation like Australia would have spent lavishly before knowing which V words would turn out to be most effective to secure an adequate supply of many options for its people. It could afford to eat the cost of any extra doses and donate them to poorer countries. Or just, nobody wants this shit. America is giving this shit away because no one wants it. Australia then could have marshaled its military and civil society to V-word the nation as quickly as possible, lifted restrictions more fully than Europe and the United States did, and argued that the combination of fewer deaths and the more rapid return to normalcy made the approach a net win. Instead, Australia invested inadequately in V-words, and once it acquired doses, was too slow to get them into arms. Quote, of the 16 million doses of AZ V-word that have been released to the government by manufacturer CSL, only about 8 million have gone into arms of Australians. Oh, it sounds like you guys don't want them either. The Age, I don't know what that is. I guess maybe that's an Australian paper. Reported on August 21, citing concern about blood clots and a widespread preference for the P word, V word. Sorry I gotta talk like this, but hey. A further 1.6 million doses have been sent offshore to help regional neighbors such as Papua New Guinea, Fiji, and East Timor tackle beer bug. But about 6 million doses are yet to be used, even as more than half the nation is in lockdown due to the outbreaks of the highly infectious D variant. Australia's lowest infection and death rates, which the country achieved both by being surrounded by water and by adopting harsh restrictions on liberty, seemed to sap its urgency when it came time to get V-word, because people don't want it. What part of that do you guys not understand? Even though the lack of urgency meant months more of basic human rights being abrogated, in hindsight, more urgency to get the jabs and arms to end the restrictions would have saved lives, because the country would have been better protected against the unexpected D variant. In return for trading away their liberty, Australians gained a huge safety dividend. Oh, did they now? See, this is where, like I said, it is a liberal paper. Beer bug has killed 194 of every 100,000 Americans, 77 of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that was basically the only point that I wanted to make. I'm not going to read the rest of the article. It was basically that phone app is insane. And it was brought to my attention through a channel. And I wanted to bring it to you all's attention and just kind of let you know what's going on in Australia. And if you think that it just because it's happening over there, that it's not going to happen over here, yeah, I think you're silly. If it's happening over there, it's going to try to creep in over here. Now, I do, like I said, I got Australian listeners. I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm not super religious, but I do pray. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm praying for you all. Like I said, there's Autodidactic, which is a channel that I like over there. He's cool as hell, so check him out. Yeah, I mean, I've always looked at Australia as kind of like America, you know, like we're like the crazy cowboys over here, and you guys are the crazy criminal class that got sent over there on boats, you know. So I was surprised that you guys kind of didn't really stand up to fight against this, you know. Because I was like, wait, aren't they supposed to be like a bunch of outlaws, kind of like us, you know? Hell, we've got liberal cities and shit here, so we got idiots here too, man. But yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck, Australia. You're in my thoughts and prayers. As far as Americans here, you can take this and look at this as an example, and go, now that it's happening there, it will creep over here. Or we can just put our foot down and stop complying and just do something. I don't know. Like I said, I know exactly what needs to be done, but I can't say it on here. If I was face to face with you, I'd tell you exactly what needs to be done. But yeah, I don't know. I figured I'd just share it with you all what's going on, and I'll catch you all later.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.